it on? No, I'm gonna see when that light
Yeah,
comes
it's
on.
still going around, so.
I know when it changes.
Oh, thank you.
There we go. Hey everybody, thanks for coming out. We are here at the Denver in the Round Songwriter Session, Super Bowl night. We just smoked our Super Bowl. Gonna introduce everybody in a second here, but to start it off, everybody, Allie Joy.
What will make you sing like you did when you were younger? When the worries just floated away. Oh, and what will make you make love like you did when you were younger? When the worries couldn't be bothered to say. Oh, 'cause you hate yourself and you're scared of others and you're afraid of your wife. And you're under the covers and you don't know why. Oh, 'cause you hate yourself and you're scared of others and you're afraid of your wife. And you're under the covers and you don't know why. Oh, when you're working hard, working 9 to 5, you're living strong, you're living with pride. Not like those dirty slobs. Oh, but you don't wanna ever change, never wanna rearrange. You're so fucking scared of what you could be. Excuse me. Cause you hate yourself and you're scared of others and you're afraid of your wife. And you're under the covers and you don't know why. So how long will it take before you break? Whoever told you, whoever told you, whoever told you all those dirty lies? That life isn't a fight. Whoever told you, whoever told you, whoever told you all those dirty lies? That life isn't a fight, one worth keeping you alive. Ooh, and burn it all down, burn it all down, burn it all down, burn it all down, burn it all to the ground, till no more numbness is found, till no more numbness is
That was awesome.
Thanks. Thank
So,
you.
we introduced Allie real quick. I'm gonna introduce the other folks here tonight, and then we'll get talking with Allie about that song. Down on the end, we have my friend Kyle Grove, who is from Texas and plays all around everywhere and in between. And right next to me is my buddy Dorian Haywood, who is my partner from a old band that we were in that we've been playing again together called Preacher Pete. And let's get back to Allie Joy. Allie Joy is in a band called Folly Fields.
Yes, yes.
So,
It's mostly just me right now.
Is it? Is that the?
Yeah,
is that?
it comes and goes.
That's like me with. I didn't introduce myself tonight, but you know, my name's Jay. But it's the same sort of thing, where a lot of times Billy the poet is just me.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's me with these people or those people. But so what's so let's talk about songwriting.
All right.
What was that song?
That song's like a letter. Like it's
Okay.
like a wake up call to someone. It's some conversations I had with friends about how things just like hard things keep happening over and over and over again in life, and like you know you have the option to kind of give up, be numb, you know, just kind of bitch about it. And then you also have the option to like fight.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those songs that's like a little bit to myself, but also to a stranger that I'm talking to, someone who's like caught in their life and they're used to their, you know, everyday thing, but they're not really living.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those songs, yeah.
Do you write? Do you find yourself writing to other people, telling them a story, or do you find yourself writing more from yourself, or is it mostly like that situation where you're writing from your own point of view, but then as you start to write it,
Yeah, you write to someone else.
You start talking to yourself, but then you end
Right.
up talking to somebody
Right,
else.
it's true. I think it's so hard to find like the beginning, the end of a song. It's like past experiences you had, relationships, conversations, future, present, things that are imaginary. It's like a combination of both. But that one I had a specific like I want to write a letter in a song to someone.
Yeah.
That kind of is a wake up call to myself too. But I have a specific person in mind that I was writing to.
Yeah. Very cool. So how did it start for you? How old were you?
Oh wow.
When did you start? Did you start with? I've been from doing this. I'm seeing a lot of people. Everybody starts different. Some people are writing poems first.
Yeah, I do a lot of poetry, but I find it really hard to write poetry and then put it into songs. I do both, but they're like separate.
Right.
And I write stories, but I started writing when I was teenage angst in a small town, something to do, you know, all that, and then playing in a band and.
Well, when did the guitar get involved?
15, yeah. So I started writing songs, and then like a month later, I played in like my high school talent show.
Wow.
And I was just kind of like, I want to do the writing song thing. I learned like the Beatles and you know Joni Mitchell and all those things, but I just started writing songs because it was easier for me to do that. So
I feel that.
yeah. So now I mean, if after I got to my like mid 20s, I was like, I think this is gonna stick.
Yeah.
Like I've been doing this for 10 years or so, so it's gonna keep going. And now I'm in my 30s, so it's like.
When did you? So
Here.
mid-20s, it was sticking, and you're like, okay, this is who I am.
Yeah.
When you were 15, you went and played that talent show. I couldn't imagine that, by the way, because I didn't start till I was like 21, and that just is. It was always very scary. There was like so many years that I was playing before I ever played in front of people.
Right.
So it's very scary.
Yeah.
So to do that at 15, in a couple months, have the courage, build up the courage, you wrote a song, or you went to go play in front of people.
I think that's a bit naive and stupid. I think actually, but it was a good experience.
Did you? It was a good experience. So you thought it was good. Was there a point where you said, okay, maybe I'm okay at this, or did you like me? Did you have years of going, I suck at this? And
You know,
just keep trying and trying and trying.
I think it's still that. There's still days like that. You know, you like play a show and you're like, should I be doing this? But you gotta like get those voices out and just keep doing it. Why you love it? I love writing songs. Keeps me, you know, keeps me sane.
Yeah.
And maybe some other people will enjoy it.
Yeah.
So,
Craft or I always say like craft or emotional. Do you write when something happens and you're inspired, or do you write? Do you try to sit down? Do you ever set up times and say, okay, I have Saturday off. I'm going to sit down for 3 hours and I'm going to write a song.
I've been mostly just from experiences, but yeah, I went on an artist residency in like a camp for like a week, and that was awesome because I had like 8 hours, and I was like, I gotta do it, I gotta write, and it really helped me like challenge that. So yeah, that was cool.
How many songs do you think you have?
In general,
The years, like, is it?
oh,
You can't even
hundreds,
count them.
yeah. How many are good? I don't know how
Do
many.
you go
But
through spurts?
yeah, I do. I usually write like 15 to 20 in a year, and then I'll just keep playing those, or like maybe 10 to 15 or something like that, and then I'll do it the next year, kind of thing. I'll record them and then I'll keep playing them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yes,
that's a good work ethic.
But like before the, having like my MacBook or anything, I just write them down, and then I probably like from 15 to 20 lost so many songs I never recorded them.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't remember them.
I try to go back and play those sometimes. Not,
Yeah.
not from that young, but excuse me, from when I started. And it's weird. It's like going on a date with an ex-girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like a song you wrote 10 years ago.
Right,
It's
right.
like, it just feels, it's like familiar and you're trying to remember how
Like,
it goes.
this is not
but
me
it's-
anymore.
Yeah, it's not right. It's not the same person writing these things.
No.
Do you have a notebook full of papers with little,
I do, yeah. I keep a notebook, just kind of writing lyrics.
yeah.
And maybe they'll be in songs, but maybe. I kind of, when I sit down, I write it all, usually lyrics all in once, or it won't come later. Like, I'll edit them,
Or it
but
won't come later.
yeah,
So
it
when
just
you
has
write
to
a
happen.
song, you do it in one shot.
I have to, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's kind of how it works.
I've
for
done.
me.
I mean, I do it both ways.
Both
You
ways,
know?
yeah.
Like sometimes I say like a Frankenstein song where you pick out like a bunch of little like things that I've
Right.
written over years and.
Yeah.
But cool. So will you play us another one?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Tell what is this one
Well,
gonna be about?
I don't, yeah, and I don't want to get into politics, but I wrote it on election day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of more of it's called Misfit Rulers. And I've been playing it a lot more as like a comfort, encouragement to myself. And we didn't know the outcome. I didn't really, at that point, but it was more just about the people,
You were
the
writing it on
underdogs.
election day.
In the morning to kind of
Oh,
keep me
yeah,
sane.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
to keep me sane. And it was more about, in the end, all this hate and all this fear mongering is not going to win.
Yeah.
Like even if it's like our political rulers,
Yeah.
the people who love, the people who accept, those
Yeah.
people are going to win in the end.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and they're the people who win every day because their lives aren't miserable.
Yeah, right,
in that
right,
way.
right,
So that's kind of
exactly,
like
right,
what
right.
this song's about.
Cool.
Because I don't usually write political songs, but it was really helping me to write some things that were happening out,
Yeah.
going out. So yeah, it's called Misfit Rulers.
Cool.
Why do we always forget what we see and what we saw and what we felt when we were younger? We
So you are our first female guest.
Oh, yeah, represent.
So I have a question as far as, do you feel, I feel as a man, I write from my perspective, which I don't know any other perspective, right? Man or woman.
Yeah.
But I do know that there are certain songs of mine that are appreciated more by men, and there are certain songs of mine that are appreciated more by women.
Interesting.
As a female writer, do you find that? What's your crowd of people who come up afterwards? Because I don't know that experience being a man. I don't. Do you get men or women? I get mostly guys that come up and are like,
oh,
yeah, what's up, man? You know,
Right.
and they want to drink with you and go smoke a bowl out back and be your buddy, you know, and then
yeah.
I feel like a lot of times, even if girls do like what I'm doing, they like don't want to come up and they feel weird about it. Where with you, I'm sure they're much more comfortable.
It's mostly, I mean, I'll say it's a lot of guys and girls.
But it's funny because I just played this show at the Marquee and I followed like a super heavy metal band. And it was so funny because the guys that came up to me afterwards were like, I really liked it. And I would have not expected they did because they were there for the metal. But they were like, I really like the songwriting and all this stuff. And I was like, I really appreciate that, man, because I know I'm not your style. Like, I'm not the style that you listen to.
Yeah. Well, you know, what's style? Let's, Allie, thank you for coming on. Folly Fields, are you playing anywhere coming up?
Yeah, we're playing at the Denver Bicycle Cafe March 3rd.
Cool. What
Yeah,
night is that?
it's a Friday night. It's a free show. It's like great tap room now they have. So
Is that 17th?
17th Street, yeah.
And do you know the cross street? What is
No, but it's on my Facebook page if you check out my
yeah.
Facebook.
I want to say it's probably, if I'm guessing, like Lafayette.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But, so March 3rd, go and check out Allie at Folly Fields. But we were just starting to talk about what kind of music you play, and I would like to jump over to Kyle Grove on the end there. Because you were saying that you played a show that was heavy metal, and that you didn't think that they were translated. Kyle Grove is a guy who I've known for a while now, and he plays grease folk, is what you call it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I see you, most of the times with an acoustic guitar. But Kyle is one of those guys that I know. You're a metal guy, man.
Yep.
Right? You like metal?
Never played it, but
Never played it.
always listened to it.
Yeah. Do you have things that you're inspired by? Obviously, you do. You just said it with metal. Are there other things like that? Because I listen to jazz more than anything. I couldn't play a friggin' note of jazz. I couldn't sit in with it, you know.
I listen to more Sleep and High on Fire, or Queens of the Stone Age, and not do anything that I play. When I'm not listening to that, it's Jerry Jeff Walker or Ray Wiley Hubbard. That's kind of the shit that I do play. So, but I enjoy the heavier tunes.
You have a heavy band now, right?
Burt Reynolds Mustache Ride.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Sexy bar rock. We formed. Ryan from Champagne Charlie is playing bass and singing. Kevin Ott, who's in like 9 bands, is drumming. And Randall Conrad Ollinger is on the keyboard. We all dress pretty slutty except
Randy, and he's got standards. He's got kids and shit. You know, I get it.
Yeah. I get that.
But yeah, we have a show next Thursday. Actually,
Cool. Where at?
Three Kings.
Nice.
We haven't practiced since August.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to be there, man.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna have to be there. Well, cool. Will you play us a song and then we'll talk about it?
Sure.
Cool.
We'll do this one. Sorry. I had another one in mind, but I changed my mind.
That's the best thing to change. You know, sometimes.
And your dirty underwear that you just pooped or something.
I haven't worn underwear since the 90s.
Man, 8th grade was the last time I wore underwear.
Yeah, I haven't worn underwear.
When I accidentally shit my pants, it goes straight to the pants, you know?
That's a problem now. That's a problem. That is a problem.
Twice last
If
year.
you don't wear
both
underwear.
times when I was actually feeling good about myself.
Yeah.
Man, you're doing all right.
Yeah.
And then, like,
The shart
I
is a dangerous thing when you don't wear underpants. You know, that's not a good surprise. That's for sure.
We'll do a love song. I'm as lost as I can be. My honey do. Oh, I'm always on the go. Yeah, I'm always on the fly. It wasn't long ago I had you by my side. Oh, now try to find me. I will try to find you. I'm as lost as I can be. My honey do. Take the next train. Oh, meet me in the next town. Yeah, there's probably rain, but we'll have each other's smiles. Oh, now try to find me. I will try to find you. I'm as lost as I can be. My honey do. East or west, you're always on my mind. Yeah, you're a perfect chest. Your lipstick's like homemade wine. Oh, now try to find me. I will try to find you. I'm as lost as I can be. My honey do.
That was beautiful. Is that
You're beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Stop. Well, how long ago did you write that, and what inspired it?
Long time ago. 3 years ago.
Okay.
They're all inspired by pretty much the only girlfriend I've had, minus like random one-nighters. You know?
Yeah. Cool. That's
You
good.
know?
They're all.
You don't know the one you got until she's always gone.
Yeah. Right.
You fuck it up all the time.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah. That was beautiful, man. That was really good. That was the best. I feel like, a lot of times when I hear you, unfortunately, it's in like a bar. It's like loud and there's a lot of shit going on. And I feel like that was really nice too. I've been enjoying doing this because not only do I get to hear where my friends started, how they got started doing it, but also I get to hear the songs a little better. I get to pay attention more, and I've heard that song before, and it was definitely I'm glad I got to hear it a little bit better tonight. So when did you?
It's one of my favorites.
When did you start, and how did it happen for you?
Doing this?
Yeah, like did you start with poetry? Did you start with a guitar? Did you start with it both together? Did somebody?
No.
Was there a fucking lightning bolt that happened that said, "This is what I got to do"?
Since I was a kid, I was always writing, but no, I could give two shits about music in like high school.
Yeah.
And skateboarding, beer, and pussy was
Yeah.
about it. Like picking up an instrument was not.
Yeah.
Never came up, and moved to Denton, Texas, and
From where did you start?
from Rockwall, where I went to high school.
Okay.
And he ripped some kid off Craigslist and bought a drum set, and taught myself how to play drums. Started a band with a buddy, the Sour Mash. We're still friends today, and when we move back to Denton, the Sour Mash will breathe fire again. But we were a band for a long time, and
You
I
heard
got
it here first.
I just, I have a really good work ethic, so I would just, I'd have a job or whatever I was doing, I'd still practice all the time. And I got to where I was living in this garage, and I was drumming for a country cover band, making a couple $100 a night. And living the dream.
Yeah, that's good living as a musician.
Yeah, exactly. Just for the drummer too.
Yeah.
Like I said, my cost of living was pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Reefer and tacos is about it. But we moved around a little bit, and I bought a guitar. Had some dude show me a chord progression, and I wrote a song that night. Went to open mic, and been on stage ever since.
Wow. When you were drumming, you weren't writing yet?
No,
Other
I
than
was
drum
writing
part, you know,
stuff, but I mean,
you're writing
just
words for a
just
different
whatever,
thing. Yeah,
just
yeah.
write, not anything for this. No.
Yeah, yeah,
When I picked up a guitar, it was the first time I wrote a song
yeah.
ever.
That's crazy. And what was it inspired by? That first one.
I wouldn't even remember it.
Really?
It's written down somewhere, but I'm sure alcohol or a woman.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember writing it, but I don't remember what the words are or what it was about. And I was in the garage, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah, yeah. That's crazy. And you just went and played it. And then now you're a drummer in a band at that point. Do you say,
I moved
now I
to Colorado.
found the light, man. I want to be the guitar. I want to be in the front, you know, and
No, did the open mic, and just kept writing, and then we moved to Colorado.
Yeah.
So there was no chance of drumming, so it was
Yeah.
just,
do your songs.
yeah.
That's cool. And what do you say? We were talking about genre. I know you say grease folk. When did that start? How did you find that? How did that become your term for the kind of music you play?
Because it's folk music for you're not singing about the trees and the wolves and, saving the environment kind of folk music. It's for a greasier crowd. It's for a bar crowd.
Yeah,
I go to
yeah.
a bar 300 days a year.
Yeah.
Uh,
When did you start using that? When did you?
Almost like right away.
Really?
Yeah.
Just one night it hit you. This is what I play.
Well, I heard
I mean,
Ray
it's-
Wiley say he described his music as greasy. I was like, oh man, that's kind of good. And I
Yeah.
was like, grease folk for the greasy folks, even better. I'm gonna take that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Very cool. And was there a moment when was there the aha moment where you said, "This is something I could do"? Do you feel like that? Do you feel like was there a night that that for whatever reason it was the night that like you were like, there's a time there comes a point where somebody makes the decision to move into their car to play the songs that they write and live the life, and that's not the easiest decision for a lot of people. When was the point where you said, "Fuck it, this is what I'm doing. This is." Have you ever had ever have a desk job? Have you ever had
not a
desk?
I've had a lot of
Or,
jobs,
like,
never a desk
yeah,
job. No.
yeah. Any like straight kind of? What was your straightest job before you started doing this that you had?
I sold knives.
Really?
And roofs. I sold knives in high school because they gave you like I think it was like $500 just to sign up if you can sell 10 sets of
Really?
knives, and I sold them all to my family, and got $500, and then they fired me. I'm pretty sure, but I did roofs. That's what brought me to Colorado. Yeah,
That's good money, man. I knew a guy who did that.
it was
That
horrible.
It was horrible money.
Fuck, no, the money was good, but
It was a horrible.
horrible job.
Was it? I had a buddy who did it. Was it like you get your leads in the morning and you go out and have to talk to people about their route, all the different people? and try to sell
Sometimes,
them?
if you're a storm chaser, like I moved,
Yeah,
I was living in the
storms.
garage, living the dream, playing in the band. I had money for weed and whatever I needed, and my sister married this dude, and they're like, "We're moving to Ohio to do sell some roofs. I think you could do it." And I was like, "Let's go. Why not? Give it a shot."
Wow. And then that was before you came here.
Yeah, then
Ohio.
back to Denton, and then here. And
then when did you? So when was the moment you said, "I'm giving it up. I'm not doing the other shit, and I'm not selling knives. I'm not selling roofs. I'm gonna move into a trailer." And
well, I was living in the trailer. I bought the trailer when I came back from Ohio. I worked in Dayton, Ohio for 6 months selling roofs. Came back with some cash, paid off all the college debt I had, credit card, everything I owed, and bought a travel trailer. And I've been living in that since.
Nice.
not expecting to be doing this life down the road, just it made sense,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So I've just been living on the sides of my friends' houses for the last 7 years,
Yeah.
and
Where are you at right now? You staying at Michelle's?
but yeah, it's still
Uh,
parked
like-
there. Yeah,
yeah,
we
so
just
back
got a
to
little
Texas.
house in Denton, Texas. We move in at the end of the month, so
Very cool.
I'm only
You
here.
got a taco place.
No, we didn't get that
you
one.
didn't get that place? I
No.
thought that was that. Oh,
It's
that was,
it's a little further from downtown, but it's only 3 miles. It's a
Nice.
$6 Uber, you know, or whatever.
nice.
Whatever will give you a lift.
Very cool.
And but yeah, heading back home.
Very cool. So we do food here every week for our guests that come, and we've had chili and lasagna, and tonight in honor of Kyle's album that's coming out, Reefer and Tacos. We made tacos
Nice.
that we're gonna eat here after the show.
Yeah.
When is it out? You just recorded that, no?
I just recorded
just
it
recorded
in Phoenix with Chris Rutledge,
Lionheart.
Leonhardt, yeah.
Leonhardt.
And we did straight to tape live. We got 10 songs. The 10 I wrote for the album,
You
and
happy?
very happy for
Yeah.
the first time. Yeah. I'm never happy, and I'm pretty stoked on it. It was a lot of fun. It was nice. It was a lot like this. I was able to. We had great mics, and you know the sound was incredible for what we were using. You know, I mean, the machine was $60, but the mics cost over $3,000. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, right.
But you know, I could take a rip in between takes. Oh, there goes some beer out the stage. It was, you know, we did 5 songs a day and
Yeah.
knocked it out in 2.5 days.
That's the work, you know. You wanna be able to enjoy it, man. I'm in the studio now, and it's like I don't want to go into the studio and not enjoy it. It's gonna just translate into the.
It's really hard. You know, I get people not wanting you to get high and blow smoke on their mics or their equipment or whatever, but it's
Right.
like, if I'm paying for this space, dude,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
fuck you.
Yeah. I get smoke. I'm like, you know, I live in Denver, man. It's, you know, it's like smoke. Leave me the fuck alone. Nobody cares. But I get drinks. I mean, even though I'm using my amp back here right now, I get, you know, some people have that like $1 million console. Nobody has that I play. But they have
It's like, who's
their
that?
$500 console that they you know saved up for forever, you know. So real quick again, I just want to say, if you're watching this, share this, share the video. If you have any questions, if somebody's watching live right now, which I think we have a question, I think that's what's going on. If you have any questions for any of the people here, anything you want to say to them, I think the last show I got, did I leave my toothbrush there by my buddy? You know, ridiculous stuff. But if you have anything you want to say, please send it in. We have people behind the scenes that are watching that are going to let us know if anybody has anything to do. Share it. And what's your next song, man? As we wait for a question, which I think might be for you.
We'll
find out.
We'll do Reefer and Tacos.
Reefer and Tacos.
She's got me feeling some loco. Need some reefer and tacos. Was it the water or was it what's her name? Not feeling so bueno. Need some reefer and tacos. Look out muchachos, I've got the jalapeno brain. Well, I love Mexican women, but they know how to drive me insane. They're like one of those old wild mares, vaqueros they can't be tamed. They got the prettiest brown round eyes, beautiful yet full of hate. Well, all I know is El Diablo lives deep inside a Mexican woman's face. She's got me feeling so loco. Need some reefer and tacos. Was it the water or was it what's her name? Not feeling so bueno. Need some reefer and tacos. Look out muchachos, I've got the jalapeno brain. Well, hot Latin loving kept me here from day to day, but I don't know about tomorrow. Think I'll be on my way. Adios, I'm scared you might find me buried 6 feet in a grave. 'Cause all I know is El Diablo lives deep inside a Mexican woman's vein. She's got me feeling so loco, need some reefer and tacos. Was it the water or was it what's her name? Not feeling so bueno, need some reefer and tacos. Look out muchachos, I've got the jalapeno brain. Well, look out muchacho, I've got the jalapeno brain.
That was great, man. That was great. Where's it from? Where'd that come from?
I like the line reefer and tacos.
Yeah.
I've come from a line of Hispanics and met a lot of women, and they're spicy and they're mean. I've dated a few and they're fucking brutal. But, you know, just lighthearted, you know, just, I don't know.
It was great, man.
I don't know. I'm not sure where it came from. Sometimes it just, there it is.
It was really good, man.
Thanks.
It was really, really good. I liked you picking on it. I'm gonna give you what I thought it's kind of was reminding me of is probably something you never heard and you might not even like it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Is I'm a big fan of all different kinds of music, and the Grateful Dead and Jerry Garcia. He plays so many different kinds of music, and he's not appreciated as a music historian, as a banjo player, as the guitar player, because people just see him as the guy from Grateful Dead. But he's got some folk albums out, man, and there's some of that in there that you're playing. It's not the Jam, it's not Grateful Dead, you know what I mean? It's not, you know, but some of he's really versed in like Appalachian music, traditional music, that kind of thing, you know.
So my friends from Kentucky are watching, they'll love that.
Yeah. If they're watching, check out some of Jerry Garcia's stuff, because not the Grateful Dead, because he does some, what is it, Old and Out of the Way, and then him playing with David Grisman, who played in Old and Out of the Way. But I mean, he put out a children's album years ago that's like, you know, very folk music, you know. But that was great, man. When's the album? When are we looking for that album? Where do you put it out? Do you put it out and sell it? Are you putting out on? Are you a Spotify and that kind of thing?
I'll probably do it for this album, for the first time, see how it goes. But
Yeah.
I'm still on the fence,
Yeah.
kind of. We'll see.
We could go to Kyle Grove.
KyleGrove.com. Yeah, KyleGrove.com.
KyleGrove.com.
It'll be released, I think, March 17th.
Okay, cool. Cool.
It's getting mastered right now. Randy's drawing the cover art.
Nice.
Takes about 2 weeks to get them pressed or whatever. And
Yeah.
the CDs, the record, I'm going to try and put it on vinyl.
Yeah.
And that'll
Very cool.
that'll take some funds.
Do you have a place here? Or are you doing it in Texas?
What?
The vinyl, like.
I'm still pricing.
still
I look
looking
at it
for-
every night and it just bums me out.
Yeah,
'Cause it's so
right.
fucking expensive.
Right.
But yeah, it's going to happen.
And then what do you got coming up for shows? I know you're doing the residency right
Yeah,
now. I
that's
think I saw.
that's about it, really. My last month in Colorado as a resident, but
So
I'm
every
doing
Thursday this
every
month?
Thursday at Three Kings. Next week is Burt Reynolds' Mustache Ride, not my solo show, just the rock band, and Night of the Living Shred, and Gordo from Granny Tweed, and
That's all next week. That's
yeah.
all this next week.
It's
Oh,
also
cool.
like crafts and drafts. People build shit and sell it.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, that's next week, and I leave at the end of the month, and then basically the tour year starts, and move back to Denton full time, and
Very cool.
I'll
You're gonna still be playing there. I mean, you're moving back there. You're still gonna be doing music.
yeah,
Okay,
it's
okay,
just
okay.
easier to tour
Yeah.
out of Denton than it is Colorado.
Yeah.
To be honest, I can be in 5 states in 4 hours as opposed to
Yeah.
1 state in 6.
Yeah. No, I hear that. I'm from the East Coast, so I know.
Yeah.
I used to tell Randy that all the time. I'm like, I could drive every night 20 minutes and be in a different market. And here it's like,
Yeah.
you drive east, you gotta go 9 hours to Lawrence.
Okay,
You know,
Kansas,
whatever. Maybe you get Hayes if you know,
Yeah.
if there's something in Hayes. Cool, man. So we have here. Sorry, everybody. Get closer to the mic. I got so the mic is too far away from me. Sorry. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I'm not. Cool. So go check Kyle out. Come if you're in Denver. Check him out on the next couple Thursdays at Three Kings. Come down and wish him a happy farewell to Texas, and give him a hug. And I'll probably be there, and we'll go smoke some reefer and eat some tacos.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't ask Allie before we get to Dorian. What's your? Do you have a web?
Yeah, it's follyfields.com.
Folly
Yeah.
Fields. FOLLIE.
Yeah.
And Fields. The
Yeah.
way that Fields is spelled.
Yeah. FOLLY and then Fields. Yeah.
Oh, FLLY.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You
no.
said yeah. I said IE. You're not even listening to me. It's like that. Like what was it? Whatever.
Like, sure,
Wayne's
if you wanna
World,
spell it
and
that
like,
way.
Yeah. And they're like, you're not even listening to what I'm saying, are you? Yeah. No. FOLLY.
Why? Fields. Or find me on Facebook. Yeah.
And that's in your next show is at the Bicycle Cafe, March
3rd, and then I have an album coming out on the 28th.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, now I would like to introduce my friend, my pal, my partner in crime in a band called Preacher Pete. I'm going to save the other question for later. We won't get into that right now. But I want to introduce my friend, Dorian Haywood, Dr. Dorian Haywood.
Hello, everybody.
Here, let's towards you. So Dorian and myself met how many years ago now?
It's going on 6, dude.
It's going on 6.
It's going on 6 years.
Wow.
I think I met you in the first year living here in Denver,
Yeah.
and I've been here over 6.5 now.
Yeah. Wow. He's one of the few people that has responded to one of my Craigslist ads that has made it out of my apartment.
I'm strong.
He's straight up.
I can get out.
Look it up. I couldn't wrestle him. I couldn't hold him down. But yeah, we met 6 years ago on Craigslist, both in unhappy marriages, and looking to play music, and those marriages are no longer.
Yeah, little did we know we had.
Yeah, we didn't know we had that much
common.
in common. We didn't know that at the time.
But I think some of our songs and some of that original music that we put
Yeah.
together was just based off the fact that
It was.
we were kind of bitter with our relationship.
Yeah. And we were just spending more time together. You know, when you're unhappy and you're like,
It's a
all
reason
right,
to
honey,
get out of the house.
I'm going to play. You know, like see you later. You know. But Dorian, man, why don't you play a song and then we'll talk to you about where it came from.
I want you to pick this first off. You want to go me or you, me and you, or Tonight We're Gonna Ride?
Oh man, Tonight We're Gonna Ride.
Yeah. Hey, tonight we're gonna ride. My friend Zeke will be by my side. Tonight we're gonna ride with the ocean tides. Well, can't you see that I love you, baby? Can't you see that I love you? Can't you see that I love you, baby? Can't you see that I love you? Tonight we're getting high. We're getting high and we're gonna fly. Tonight we're gonna fly right into the morning light. Can't you see that I love you, baby? Can't you see that I love you? Can't you see that I love you, baby? Can't you see that I love you? Tonight we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight for our rights. Tonight we're gonna fight. We're gonna knock out your lights. Can't you see that I love you, baby? Can't you see that I love you? Can't you see that I love you, baby? Can't you see that I love you? Tonight we're gonna ride. My friend Zeke will be by my side. Tonight we're gonna ride. Ride with the ocean tide. Can't see that I love you, baby. Can't see that I love you. Can't see that I love you, baby. Can't see that I love you.
Oh yeah, Dorian Haywood.
I'm glad you picked that song.
Yeah, so tell me about it, man. This is weird because we've known each other 6 years, and I just interrupted you, which is gonna make point of this. In those 6 years, I've probably talked 5 3/4 of those years. So I'm excited to ask you questions, and I apologize.
That was the first song I've ever written on the banjo.
Okay.
And I remember I was sitting on the beach in Daytona Beach. I was over here. Sitting next to me was my girlfriend, who's going to be my future wife. And I had a dog named Zeke next to me. So when I'm talking about my friend Zeke by my side, and that was the dog of my roommate who was out there surfing. And it was just this whole beautiful evening. I'm sitting there picking a banjo. Everybody just chilling, watching the surf. And I just start picking into this little, just grooving into that little. As soon as I got the rhythm down and played it a couple times, I'm like, I'm gonna roll with this. And that is one of the only songs I think I've ever written, and just kind of just sat there and played it over and over and over, and not actually had to write anything down. Because normally when I'm writing a song, I'll make the music first, then I'll put the lyrics to it.
Yeah.
So that song was just kind of unique because A, it was the first song I've ever written on the banjo, and B, that was I just kind of sat there and just wrote the whole thing in my head and just kept rolling through it, and so it stuck, and
Oh yeah.
it did, and we're still playing it today.
So that was the first song on the banjo. Tell us, when did you start? So first song on the banjo. I know you play the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you started with the guitar. What did you start with? When did you start writing words? When did you start putting words to music?
You know, I always say my first instrument was the drums, but I got to thinking about it, and even when I was just a baby, I had a guitar. It was just a little kid's guitar. So even though I wasn't actively pursuing it, I was still figuring it out.
Yeah.
But my dad's always had a guitar around the house, and when I was about second grade, I think I got a set of drums.
Yeah.
I consider that my first instrument.
Drums.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I see that a lot. That's not an uncommon thing, that drums. I was just talking to my girlfriend today about if we ever have kids. Now, I know my father's watching. Well, I'll give a shout out to real quick because he is the inspiration for the name of our band, Preacher Pete, because his name is Pete, and he's a preacher. If you think I talk a lot, God, you don't even know. But so yeah, that's where Preacher Pete came from. But anyway, what were we talking about? Now I lost my train of thought. We're smoking a joint.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about how I got into writing banjo songs as opposed to anything else.
So you started with the
when
guitar.
I was like at the end of high school, very end, I started getting interested in guitar.
Okay.
I learned chord formations, and when I went to my undergrad in 2001, I took my banjo with me. And it was my grandma's banjo that was kind of passed down through my dad. And that's when I learned how to play it.
So you have, you know what? I don't ask people that. Music in the family.
Mm-hmm.
You play so your dad, you got banjo.
My dad was a major musical influence for me.
Yeah.
Just for the fact he always kind of jammed here and there, and he still does.
Yeah.
And my grandma on my mother's side, she played a couple different instruments. Like I said, I got the banjo, my first banjo, from her. So.
Yeah.
She go out.
Yeah. There you go. You got your banjo from your grandmother.
The first one, yeah.
Wow.
An Epiphone.
That's cool.
Wow.
They had the neck glued back together.
Wow.
It was broken once upon a time, but still it played like an angel.
Yeah. And then when did the songwriting started? Then in college is when you started putting the words to it.
That was when I was in chiropractic school, so that's probably in like 2008 or.
You're really a
2007.
doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a chiropractor.
Fuck yeah.
Thanks, man. back problems or musculoskeletal issues or lack of muscle mass, I'm the man to talk to.
What's on the web if you're trying to find Cairo Mega.
Boom, baby.
Cairo
Marketing
Mega.
at its best.
Yeah, hell yeah. So it started then, and you started writing songs, and how do you?
I like you too, man. Your music is fucking awesome, by the way. I fell in love with you sometime, somewhere in the middle of that second song. Your voice is fantastic.
What? Okay, so when did you think you could do this? When did you think it was good? When did you go, okay, I'm gonna do this song. I'm gonna make happen. And I'm gonna look on Craigslist for some dude who lives in a basement with his bitter fucking bitch of an ex-wife and go play music. You know, like when did this all? When did you think you could go and wanna try and get on a stage?
I remember doing some of my first open mics in around 2002, 2003 in my undergrad because I had some friends that were into doing that, and I was learning how to play. And I always like to challenge myself with different types of things, and I think challenge my brain, my patience. I tried to take this on and try to get on stage and make it happen. And it is nerve-wracking going on stage for the first couple times, but
Yeah.
I mean, after the year, me and you, we played. I've been on stage with you more than anybody.
Yeah.
And I feel a sense of comfort having you up there with me, and just
Yeah.
we're doing this again, and it's no big deal anymore.
Yeah,
I
right,
was like
right.
that when we first started doing it. But
Yeah.
I had some friends in my undergrad. We
Yeah.
jam out, we get up and do some open mics and stuff. But
You never played a gig.
I played a couple
yeah.
here and there,
Yeah.
like in the time right before I met you when I was still living in Florida.
Yeah.
And when I moved out here, just like I didn't know anybody out here. I came from Florida. I had a wife and a kid. And I had to move myself out. I moved myself out here because I got a job.
Yeah.
And when I get here, I don't have any friends, and do my best to make this marriage of mine work.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I had you as a outlet to put some of this music into, and I think that's really
Same here, man.
I think you kind of ask about where does your song come from?
Yeah. Well, you ever been in a band? Sorry,
awesome.
you ever been in a band with another songwriter? Either of you?
No, I haven't.
I've never had a band with me.
So this is it's an interesting relationship. It's an interesting relationship. But please go ahead, please.
Talk about where your songs come from, and like when do you have your inspirational periods? Write something down and make something creative that you want to project.
Yeah.
Something you like comes from
Yeah,
the heart, or
yeah.
you think it's going to be good or whatever.
Yeah.
And there towards the end of my first relationship, I came out with I was just on a streak. I came out with like 5 songs,
Yeah.
and that was after probably a year and a half, 2 years playing with you.
Yeah.
And let's play one later. Let's play Coming Down the Mountain.
Oh yeah, we are.
You down with that?
Yeah, I'm definitely down.
But
Where are you from, man? Where is I mean, I know parts of it, but you said your father? I know your father lives in Florida,
sure
but he
does.
didn't grow up in Florida.
Man, I kind of grew up all over the place. My dad was golf course superintendent, worked on the golf course,
Yeah.
and for the first half of my life, or first half of my youth, just kind of moved around golf course to golf course like every 3 years or so. Started my roots in Texas, in Midland. That's where I was born. I went to Harlingen, then Kentucky, then Tennessee, then Kentucky, then back down to Florida. Then that kind of settled down and
Where
kind
in
of went
Florida?
through high school. Then I was in Palatka, Florida.
Palatka?
Uh-huh.
Now, where's that? I was born in Jacksonville.
So not too far.
No?
Just a little bit southwest. Probably an hour and a half from Jacksonville.
I don't remember.
Hey, man,
We left
you're not
when I
missing
was
much
young.
from what I remember. But, after there we moved to Madison, Indiana, and I spent a lot of time in Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana. That's where I
So
was.
that's what I always call my home.
Yeah.
I'm a
That's where
Hoosier.
Larry Bird's from, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
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 I think Salt Licks, Indiana.
Hey, can I real quick? I want to put out. I want to say again, share, but I also want to say, and I want to invite. What's your dad's name?
Rick Haywood.
I want to invite Rick Haywood here. If he's in town, I want to have Rick Haywood come to the show because he worked as a golf course guy, traveled all around the country, plays the banjo.
He knows how to grow grass.
He knows how to grow grass. I've only heard fine things of him. Actually, I enjoyed some of his crop recently. But yeah, Rick Haywood. If you
Come
come
on
to
out, Dad.
Denver, if you come out, I'm inviting you. I want you to come by and play some songs and hang out, and we'll talk about grass.
I think this is a fantastic leeway. You talk about my dad. You talk about the preacher.
Yeah.
I've had that question
Yeah.
come up several times. Had the preacher Pete? Where'd that name come from?
Yeah.
So your dad, right?
Yeah, it was a list.
And
It was
you
a
know,
list. We were with Stacy at the time. We were playing in a 3-piece with a stand-up bass player, and and then we had 2 other guys that one would play guitar or mandolin or whatever, but it was basically 3 of us, and we had a list. We wrote out a list one night of like. Do you remember? You know what I'm talking? Yeah. We wrote out a list of like 12, like 20 names, and like, and then we ended up on that. And
Then we had like 3. Then we let that sit for like a week. Then we're like, all right, preacher Pete is that.
Which sucked because I hate to give, have to give my father any reason to have,
Credit for your music.
yeah, to have any credit,
I give you credit for the genetics.
But yeah, I had to call him up and go, hey Dad, I'm in the band and we named it after you, so it was pretty cool, and we still,
Such an asshole.
and we still play today. Preacher Pete, my father, who I inherited, we talk about family. We were talking earlier, this Ampeg amp and the Guild guitar back there that both were in my grandmother's closet that my father played. Before we go on to your next song, I want to segue real quick because I had that question. I want to ask you too, family. Do you have do your family play?
My family sings. My dad retired and he's like in his late 60s and actually a really good classical guitarist now. He like plays all the time and.
Now he
he
didn't play when he was
He played
young.
like in a band when he was in high school, and then now he's like, I'm really impressed. He like decided he wanted to learn later in life, and it's like giving him a lot of joy. And but no, just mostly me.
What about you, Kyle? Family?
Nope.
Nobody.
Nobody.
What do they think of it since they don't do it? Do they like it? Do they think you're crazy? Do they?
I've always, kind of lived the same life,
Yeah.
So nothing's really changed other than
Now you're.
I'm on the road, so that makes them nervous a lot,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's understandable. But they get it. They're on board.
It's a hard life, man. It's a hard life. When you're on the road all the time, it's dangerous. I don't want to get into it and turn downward, but I've lost a couple friends that nobody will ever know the name of. They're in bands that never did anything, but who were living their life on the road, and it's like a blizzard, and you got to get to your next gig, and just shit happens. But so, what's your next song you want to play for us? I gotta stop turning.
Well, yeah, I think I don't necessarily think I wrote this song about your dad, but. It's kind of
okay, yeah, I know what you're gonna
self-titled
play.
Song.
This is a
Song's
new
called
one.
The Preacher.
This is a new one.
Yeah. So, this is the first time I've ever really played it for all that many people besides you.
I've played it a couple times, but I'm not joining in because I don't know it that well yet.
All
I
right.
gotta get it down.
I think I'm all settled down now. The first song was rough.
All right, The
We're gonna get
Preacher.
through this. Give me a second here.
You want this bad boy?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
I think
Next thing's a lot easier.
Do you write in phases, man? Where's your writing come from? Is it inspirational? Do you ever? We just recently, he sent me a text message one night and said, we both need to write a song for
Yeah.
Preacher Pete
I need to be
that we could
motivated.
play by the end of the month. And I said, okay. And I sat down and
This is that
I wrote a
song.
song, and this is his song. So is it? Do you sit down? Other than that, this last time, obviously, I know. Or do you wait to be sitting on a beach next to your dog,
I can
watching
be pretty
life?
chill
Yeah.
and not have too much going on.
Yeah.
I like to just sit down and play my instrument until, I find something that I like. Then I'll put lyrics to it
Yeah.
for something that's worthwhile. I'm glad I used this. I was way off. We're ready to rock this now.
All right. Let's hear it.
Hello, my friend. Excuse me. Let me start that one again. I'm all nervous over here on this podcast. Hello, my friends. Him. So come gather round. The preacher's about to get down. So won't you gather round, listen to the sound, dancing all around with your best friends. You can cut a rug with it, listen to the way he picked it. We can knock it down with the preacher, Preacher Pete. Going southbound, going down, downtown. Won't you wanna come with me? Wanna see the big city lights tonight? There might be riots tonight. People out on the street, stomping their feet for Preacher Pete. Preacher, he won't bad man, but jammer you don't wanna miss. No one wants to fuck with the preacher. We can knock it down with it, pass it over here and hit it. We can knock it higher with the preacher, Preacher Pete. Now I'm going to a place where my homies hang out. Can't stand a place dancing the night away. All my friends are here, and I'm happy to see them. They take it down low rock, steady to the beat of Preacher Pete. Preacher, he won't bad mother, never gonna be another. Ain't ready ever brother like the preacher. You can cut a rug with it, listen to the way he picked it. We can knock it down with the preacher, Preacher Pete.
What kind of music do you play? What kind of music do you play if somebody asks you? Do you have an answer?
That's my favorite song to play lately.
That's yeah, but what kind of music is that? Do you play? You play.
Good question. What
You
kind
play
of
the
music
band.
is
You
that?
play the banjo. So
I don't think I can play a traditional banjo though.
no,
I heard you categorize it as folk pop.
no. Did I say that?
Pop folk?
I say Americana roots rock is what I used to say about Preacher Pete when we used to play out more. Is
I was
that-
kind of thinking about
you
this. I
know.
knew you were going to ask me this question.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, I was really into punk rock, and it's something about the energy of those songs being put out there and the way that they. It's all about. I don't know how to describe it. It's just something about the
Yeah.
nature of the aggression in the music
Yeah.
creates a certain type of energy, and I wanted to be able to kind of hone that in, make it happen with a banjo.
Yeah.
So, actually, some of the first songs I learned on the banjo were like Misfits covers.
Yeah. Right.
We play
We
one
do a
every now and then.
Misfits. Yeah, we do a Misfits
Play,
cover.
I turned into a Martian.
Yep.
But that was not the. I mean, like I said, my dad was kind of into music and was a musician, so I had all kinds of different influences, not just punk rock, but
Yeah.
obviously playing bluegrass,
Yeah.
bluegrass punk rock.
Do you still? I mean, we always when we play, obviously, it's always in this kind of situation. Do you? How often do you play the guitar?
It kind of depends. I go in my spurts.
What do you write with? You said that's by I Want to Ride. It was the first song you wrote on the banjo, so obviously you write with both.
Yeah. Truthfully, if I'm writing this with whatever's in my hand,
Yeah.
I've got a couple songs I can translate from the banjo or the guitar over to the banjo, but sometimes it's hard because the timing of the banjo and how it's supposed to be played, it's a little bit more methodic and a little bit more rhythmic.
Yeah.
Sometimes in some of these some of the guitar licks that I can do.
Yeah. No, I know that when we were doing Preacher Pete a few years ago, there were nights we'd play shows where we'd play 2 nights in a row, and depending on who was there, one night I'd play the same set on guitar, and then the next night on mandolin. And there's like that, like, well, I know both of these ways, but it's they're different they're different beasts, you know. Did you see that video I put online of that show that we played at Pete's
with
Pete's
Archuleta?
Monkey Bar with Archuleta?
Doing some Bertha about the
Yeah,
Grateful Dead.
yeah. Speaking of the Grateful Dead, which I was playing the mandolin on, which is pretty cool. Again, I want to say to everybody out there to share these videos. Please share them. If you have questions, send them in. Next 2 Sundays from this Sunday, we have Zach Driscoll, I have Rob Barnes, and I have Jeffrey Dallet. So 2 weekends from now, come and check out them. Make sure to share. But I'm gonna play a song right now that with Dorian's help, if you'll play along with me. This is a song that this was when we started to realize that we were both unhappy. And well, I should say I moved here. When I first moved here, I was living out of a motorhome and with my ex-wife. And
A lot of exposure and closeness.
a lot of exposure and closeness. And we moved into a little basement right across the street here. And you came over. And first of all, it's the elephant in the room. He's a professional bodybuilder, right? He's huge. So this guy we contact each other on Craigslist, and he's like, I hear his accent. Hey man, what's up? You know, kind of southern, kind of twangy. And he's like, I play the banjo, all right. And I open up the door, and he wasn't as big as he is now, but he was still a big guy. I was like, okay, let's see what's up, you know. And he came in, and at that point, because we had just moved out of the motorhome. So literally, our living room was 2 folding chairs and a cooler, like I have it in the closet right now, a red Igloo cooler that was our coffee table. And we hung out there, and I think there's video of like that first or second night that we played together, and we played the band, and we played the Beatles, and we played some original stuff. And we started playing together and bringing our own songs. Didn't know that each of us were in not the happiest of marriages and relationships. And going back to what I said before, I had never been in a band with another songwriter. I'd always been the songwriter. I loved it because it gave me time to step back and let him play songs and get better on the guitar and try to figure out that part and focus on that. But we were both less than a year away of getting divorced, you know, from our respective wives at the time. And he came over and he goes, I wrote these verses, you know, I wrote these couple verses about this thing, and he sang them to me and played them for me, and I was like, oh, I have a chorus for that, you know. And we wrote this song. This is a song called
Coming Down the Mountain.
Coming Down the Mountain.
Got my pride by my side. I'm looking for a woman, someone who can treat me right. No, I never meant to hurt you. Our love just was not meant to be. I simply need a lover who's more interested in me.
Well, I'm sorry, girl, it was not meant to be. I pray that you are not mad at me. I hope you find someone to treat you kind. For me, I'm just moving down the line.
Well, I'm running from your woman. Tomorrow I'll be gone. I hope that my words haunt you. Because of you, I wrote this song. Yes, I'm running from your woman. I'm leaving town and new. Please tell my baby I love her, and I hope to see her soon.
Well, I'm sorry, girl, it was not meant to be. I pray that you are not mad at me. I hope you find someone to treat you kind. For me, I'm just moving down the line.
knows I love you, lady. The love's faded away. You began to bore me. My eyes, they began to stray. Now I'm looking for you, lady. Baby, now if you're good to me, I'll give you my heart forever. My true love, you will be.
And I'm sorry, girl, it was not meant to be. I pray that you are not mad at me. I hope you find someone to treat you kind. Me, I'm just moving down the line. Well, I'm sorry, girl, it was not meant to be. I pray that you are not mad at me. I hope you find someone to treat you kind. For me, I'm just moving down the line. Hey, thank you very much. So that was Denver in the Round songwriter sessions. Come and see us in 2 weeks. Thanks to Kyle Grove. Thanks to Allie Joy and Folly Fields. Thanks to Dorian Haywood. You got a webpage that they can check out?
Just my Facebook page. I need to get something professionally going with music. Apparently, these guys. I feel like I'm behind the ball here.
Yeah,
I
right,
feel like
right. We have a
albums
YouTube.
coming out and
We have an
stuff.
old YouTube page. If you go
I'm
to
impressed.
YouTube,
Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
If you go to YouTube, there's a Preacher Pete band. It's old stuff on there, but you can check it out. And we'll be playing around here soon. But hey, thanks for coming out. We're gonna go smoke some more reefer and eat some tacos.
13 shakes.
Have a good night.